Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today with a video over Historathon 2024. Historathon is a year-long reading initiative that was put together by Vin, our fearless leader Vin over at Revenant Reads. And his overall game plan was to get more people to read nonfiction history. This has been an absolutely wonderful event over the last couple of years, and we are, now that we're in October, we are in the fourth quarter. We're ready for fourth quarter Historathon 2024. Now, this year-long reading event that Van came up with, he's got lots of different co-hosts. I am one of them, and every quarter the co-hosts put together a pile of possibilities, books that we would like to get to in that quarter. And for each of the 4 quarters of the year, there's a different time frame that we are working with. So the first quarter is prehistory to 500 AD. Second quarter was 500 to 1500 AD. Third quarter was 1500 to 1820, and then now we are in the fourth quarter, which is 1820 to the present. And so I have had a wonderful reading year. Maybe I didn't quite get as many books done that I wanted to, but I've had a fairly good year. I think I'm going to feel pretty good when I do my year-end wrap-up video. But this video today is primarily, like I said, a pile of possibilities. These are books that I want to get read for the fourth quarter of Historathon. And I've got a pile of them here. I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I definitely will get to, probably at least half of them I will get to, and possibly more, just depending on how much I focus my reading on Historathon 2024. All right, so I'm going to go through this stack of books with you so that you kind of have an idea of what I am wanting to get read in the next 2.5 months. And yes, I am very aware that this video is a couple of weeks, 3 weeks late, and I do apologize to Vin for that, but better late than never, right? So the first book that I want to bring up, and this goes actually with another reading event. I had initially planned to read this in September for Red September, and there was an event put together by some of the people on BookTube discussing Russia or the Soviet Union, I guess. And this one was the Russian Revolution, 1917 to 1934. By Sheila Fitzpatrick. And I had initially started the very first chapter, and then stuff got going with school, and as per usual, my usual excuse is life got busy, and it did. And I haven't had time to do anything like in the order that I would like to do it. So anyway, I still want to get this done, and it's actually been on my TBR for several years now, and it just keeps getting put to the back burner. But yeah, it's the history of the Russian Revolution, and my kids in class will be reading that learning about that fairly soon. So I would like to very soon get to it. I am not going to promise that, though. I've been doing a full-scale cleanup of my TBR, and I've been trying to open the way for this last quarter, but and I'm getting books knocked off the list, but it seems like I keep finding more books that I want to read. Does anybody else have that problem? So anyway, the next book is a book that was sent to me by the author Mark Kelly. He's from Pennsylvania, and he wrote this book, An Uncommon Woman, The Life of Lydia Hamilton Smith. This looks like it's going to be a good biography. Now, Lydia Hamilton Smith, if you don't know anything, this was Thaddeus Stevens's love interest when he was in his older years. The problem was she was an African-American woman and Thaddeus Stevens was not. And so marriage was probably not an option for the two of them, but they did live together, and had a love interest for each other. The author sent this to me because Peg and I had done a buddy read together, and then we did a video over a buddy chat over that book by Bruce Levine. It was a biography on Thaddeus Stevens that had come out, and we read that and enjoyed the book, but he said there's more to the story, and so we were real excited about this. So I know Peg and I are going to buddy read this in November, and I can't remember when we're going to start it. I want to say it was maybe a couple weeks into November we were planning on starting it, but don't quote me on that. I'll have to get back to her on that. But I know she still wanted to read this, and the author had sent it to us, and we definitely want to read it because we want to learn the rest of the story. We want to see her side of the story. So we're looking forward to reading that, and I know if we buddy read that, we're definitely going to get back to you with the buddy chat so that you can, hear our thoughts and insights into that topic. A book that I'm currently reading that I've been reading for, I think it's a couple months now. We've been slowly going through it, or maybe it's a month and a half, but Patrice Jones and I are buddy reading Lincoln by David Herbert Donald. And this is a fabulous book. It's a great overview of Lincoln's life. I'm finding that there's, he's trying to cover everything. So there's certain topics that could probably be looked at in a lot more detail, but you can't do that with the life of Lincoln without making a multi-volume history. But we're absolutely loving this book, and it's given us a lot of stuff to talk about in our Voxer chats. Just both of us, we both are having the issues of when do we get it read, because we got so much other stuff going on, and but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it, and I don't mean that in a negative way that we're going to plow through it. Oh man, no, it's a really good book, and so we want to get through it. But anybody that's wanting to learn something on Lincoln, I do recommend this book. But yeah, how far are we? We halfway? Let's see. Yeah, we're about halfway through the book. I gotta read tonight. I gotta get to reading on chapter 11, and because that's what we were gonna get read this weekend. So I do need to get going on that. Next book that I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna be doing this one sometime in the very near future, next couple weeks. I think I'm gonna get it going. Is Antony Beevor's D-Day, the Battle for Normandy. Peg and I and Brian over at Brian MR, we had read Stephen Ambrose's book on D-Day, and it really sparked an interest for all three of us on anything and everything dealing with D-Day. And I know Peg did some book hauling on different things with D-Day, and I thought maybe I would pick another one up as well. And I've picked up a couple since we read that book. I've picked up a couple D-Day titles, but this might be the one I'm excited about the most of the ones that I picked up. But this is Antony Beevor's a really good World War II historian. He's got lots of books out there. I've got a couple of them upstairs. I have not read him before though, so when I say he's a really good World War II author, I'm going based on popular opinion of him. Everybody seems to like him. He's a pretty popular writer. But yeah, I'm real excited about this. Just digging in further, and hopefully, what I'm hoping to see is, with Stephen Ambrose's book, when we read that, it was primarily an American point of view from the American beaches, and it kind of glossed over. I think all three of us agreed it kind of glossed over the Canadians and then the British, the other three beaches at Normandy. And so we were wanting really to see the other side of that story. We had talked about it's probably because their stories are fairly similar to the American stories on the invasion of those beaches, but we still wanted to see that. And we do know that's not to take anything away from Ambrose's biography. It was highly enjoyable. it was primarily from the American point of view, I think simply just because he had done so many interviews with World War II survivors, and D-Day being one of his favorite topics to look at. So anyway, it'll be good. I'm hoping that this one's going to hit, some of the European perspective on that invasion. The next one is a newer book that I had picked up, or it's not a new book, but newer for my collection. And I showed this in my birthday book haul. Same way with that D-Day book. I got that one for my birthday also. But Abraham Lincoln and the Almanac Trial. And this book is called Moonlight by John Evangelist Walsh. And so I'm excited to read that. It's a real thin volume, so it shouldn't take me very long to get through it. But, it's one of those landmark cases in his career. Might not have been like nationally important, but it was important in the local area. And like I said, I'm just excited to read that and see what that author has to say about Lincoln. Can always use some more Lincoln stuff. So let's just keep the Lincoln theme rolling here. So I'm gonna read a few books on Lincoln during fourth quarter. The new book out called Chorus of the Union, How Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas Set Aside the Rivalry to Save the Nation by Edward Robert McClellan is another one that I'm going to read. And it's exactly what the title says. They were political rivals all the way through, from young men all the way up to their Senate races in 1858, and then on into the race for the presidency in 1860. And they had a very key rivalry in American politics. And of course, Douglas won the Senate race, but Lincoln won the presidency. And so they were political rivals, political enemies, so to speak. They said some things about each other that weren't always the nicest things. But in the end, when push came to shove, they came back together to help try to save the Union. They had a single cause, and the Union needed to stay whole. Obvious differences in how to handle the slavery issue, but they both wanted to save the nation, and so they worked together for that. And so when this title came out, I was real excited when I saw this title as one of the new books coming out. I was real excited to see what another author would say about their political rivalry, because I enjoy reading about that. And then the last one, because you guys know that the Civil War is near and dear to my heart in as far as learning about it, the new book by Eric Larson, The Demon of Unrest, a saga of hubris, heartbreak, and heroism at the dawn of the Civil War. And this one has had very high acclaim. Everybody I have heard anything that's read some of it, they've spoke very well of it. Patrice Jones, she. I was buddy reading that Lincoln book, and she's buddy reading this one with a couple of her friends, and they've all been raving about it, and she's been telling me, I need to read it. You need to read it. And so I'm gonna try to get to this one, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be really good because I trust Patrice. Patrice has really good taste in books, and so she knows good writers when she reads them. So I fully trust her. But anyway, that right there, BookTube, currently is my stack or my pile of possibilities for Historathon 2024. Again, Historathon is that reading initiative trying to get everybody to read more nonfiction history. So if you're somebody out there that's maybe looking to dip your toe in the water of nonfiction history, hopefully maybe those titles may give you some ideas of stuff to read. I'm interested in what you guys are reading out there on BookTube for Historathon 2024 in this fourth quarter. What titles or topics are you reading about? Mine's obviously pretty heavy in Civil War stuff, because that's just my favorite topic to read about. And so I always love when the fourth quarter comes around, because like with ancient history, that's definitely out of my wheelhouse. But I get to see the fun part of it is I try to pick up a couple of titles, learn something new, branch out a little bit. But it's not my cup of tea, but it's so much fun to watch everybody else, because there's a lot of, a lot of fans of ancient Greece and ancient Rome and ancient China and ancient, all these different places. And it's fun to watch people get excited about their niche area. And now it's my turn. So what are you guys reading? Are you in your wheelhouse, or are you is this I know Justin over at his channel, he always talks about he's an ancient history guy, and so this quarter is branching out for him. So are you one of those people that are branching out in that fourth quarter? And if you are, what are you trying out? What is the new genre for you, or the new area of study? So let me know down in the comments section. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous, beautiful weekend. It's absolutely gorgeous outside, but yet again, the only thing not gorgeous about it is having to go mow up all those leaves that are starting to fall. But anyway, for right now, I'm going to stay in here and read. So go out there and read some books. And until next time, happy reading.